Hey guys, welcome to Mental It. Today I am joined with a very special guest, T, also known as Meann Green.
Yes, and if you know me, you know that I am your snack queen. So we have an array of treats here. Let's start off with your favorite of the night. It's Vegas popcorn. We got a mix of flaming hot Cheetos flavored flaming hot popcorn with a mixture of kettle corn. Yes. Then we got our Marchese gumdrops straight from Italy. If you want to continue on the international vibe, we got some Parisian chocolate here, courtesy of Sugarfina, some fresh berries, whipped cream. You actually chose this.
I did choose this mixture. It was like the peanut butter protein
granola
with the whipped cream.
Yes,
let me just have one since we're talking about it.
Yes, since we're talking about it. Also, some honey roasted chickpeas, and then my personal favorite has been these Snack Factory cinnamon sugar pretzel crisps.
Mm-hmm.
These are freaking French toast in one bite.
And my favorite cereal happens to be Cinnamon Toast Crunch, so I'm gonna have one.
Please. So we're gonna snack tonight. We're also gonna talk.
This is gonna be a very intentional conversation.
Intentional, but also organic. Also known as me chewing with my mouth full. But we'll get through this. Just know that the snacks are good.
I also wanted the conversation to be intentional, so I really wanted to collaborate with you. Mental It, that's Meann Green.
Yes, we're here. You know, it's funny because I feel like Meann Green, even though it's a lot
I was going to ask you, what does that mean? Can you tell the audience, what is Meann Green?
Meann Green is me. It's me. It's who I am. If you want to break it down further, you have to think about color psychology, right? So when you think of the word green or the color green, what words come to mind for you?
For me?
Yeah.
For me, it's namaste, right? I think of green, I'm like, oh, peace. I always think of green, I'm always thinking life.
Mm-hmm.
Life is present, life is growing, it's ever growing, it's never stopping. It reminds me to slow down a bit, to appreciate things, the color green.
Yeah.
Green, honestly, wasn't always my favorite color, though, to be honest. It was blue. But now green, since I've gone on this healing journey, it has been such a... it's very reminiscent of something that is achievable for me, the color green.
Yeah. You know what? It's funny that you use this word because green is my healing as well. You know, it's not a color that I always identified as my favorite color. If other people knew me, they would say oh, she likes blue, and it's green is my yin and my yang. You know, it's it expresses the positive and the negative sides of me as a human. And I totally unapologetically enhearten that. It's my DNA. As a human, we don't always have this positive makeup. There's certain parts of me, that are negative as well. So words that pop into mind, people think of, back to nature, very down to earth, which is who I am. A sense of calm and, easiness. I'm also like that too. But
what are those negatives?
I get jealous. I get jealous. Greed is another factor because if you put into money in terms of green, that could feel like a negative thing because it's where is the root of your need of money coming from? But again, I'm that person that's all about growth, all about sustainability in terms of my personal self, and I always want to see myself and others get to that next step, which is that lush green pasture lifestyle. But at the same time, there's a reason why I'm fueled to be this way. And that's that negative connotation that green has.
And when you say fueled to be this way, what comes to
There's
mind?
There's certain things that I want that I've seen other people have that I need it for myself, and this is how
my celebrities' children.
Celebrities' children. Yes, we come from places where we don't always see luxury in terms of our lives. So it's that's something that I always want for myself, and I know that I always have to work hard for it. So how can I tap into who I am and the things that make me and the things that I love and express myself in a way where other people can just tap in and just be on the same vibe as me. But I'm also, and I hear something's coming, but I don't want to cut you off, but I also I love to share, and I think that's the overall headlining word when it comes to me. You know, like when you break down Meann Green and who she is, we know the specifics. We know she likes snacks. You know, we know that, you know, music expression is a part of me, because if you follow me on Instagram, you know there's always a new playlist. I love a good tune. I love a good breakdown. I'm watching music videos, you know, and I also understand that I have a voice, and that voice overall can break down into expression of art, culture, lifestyle, the things that I like. But I also love the people that are around me, you know, and I want to share those things with them.
And I want to just say quickly, like your voice, like I love your voice, because again, like it's super amplified in rooms. And I've said this to you before, like, you know, generally people will come up with a concept and just talk about it and everybody can kind of get it or whatever, and it's just very general. But you will take that one concept that you're talking about and you'll literally stretch it in 4 different areas, 4 different sides. Like, I've always felt like you're such a great leader too. And like you have so much great qualities to you when it comes to like really compartmentalizing and making people think about the bigger picture, which is really great. And I think a lot of people don't have that skill set, and I think it's a blessing to have that.
Yeah, it is. It is. It is a blessing to think big picture, you know, because I mean, I always think that everything that we have has a double-edged sword to it, you know, like, so 100%. Even though I think big picture, I always come big, you know, with the idea in the beginning process, where people got to come to me and say, T, we gotta make it smaller. we gotta break it down.
We gotta scale back because we ain't got the budget.
We ain't there yet. We gotta scale back and work a little bit harder. And I'm like, I always gotta work a little bit harder. Damn, I'm black, I'm a woman. Dang, I can't even get on YouTube Live for my birthday. What the hell? And they were like, you know what, you can do it for your birthday, but just make it a little later. So that's what's happening. You know? So the first rehearsal will be on my birthday, so it'll make me feel good. You know, very like Beyonce homecoming vibes.
Yeah. Okay.
We're gonna shoot some behind the scenes. Hey,
I can do whatever I want.
Yes, I'm in that Pepsi commercial, like in the mirror. Yes, I'm here for it. So my mom worked at a grocery store my entire life. If you're,
oh really?
Yeah. So if you are from the South or maybe from the Midwest, you probably know what Kroger is. My mom worked at Kroger like the majority of my life. My dad is somebody who I take a lot after. You know, he's very cautious, calm, even keeled, and he expresses himself through food. Like, he's a very loving, you know, full of like nurturing kind of guy, and he overall, like, he will put his heart and soul into a dish. But he's also the most adventurous when it comes to food. So whenever he and my mom will go grocery shopping, my mom is like, what's the cheapest? You know? And my dad is like, well, what's the weirdest? You know? You know, so he was always it was always just like some weird stuff that kind of came through the house. And, you know, again, like once I was able to go grocery shopping for myself, I naturally found myself buying the most odd thing. You know, I was like, what is this? So to your point, when you were growing up with your dad, right? Yeah. And what is the most weirdest thing that he had you try as a kid and you ended up liking? And oh wow, that's a big thing. Weirdest thing that I ended up trying and liking. You know, so one of the struggle meals for us was Hamburger Helper. Okay. I hated Hamburger Helper.
Oh, really? I love that shit.
Like, oh my God. It was just, for some reason, it was just gross to me. But he ended up making Tuna Helper, and that shit banged. I was like, this is better. Why did you give us this crappy, like, heavily spiced, like, all, like, extra oily stuff, and then
wait, what is Tuna Helper?
He said, we didn't have that where I was from.
Wait, hold on.
Yeah, I mean, everybody has their oddities. Like, what would you say are some oddities that you have?
Something weird that I was introduced to that I ended up loving?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't have to be about food, but just anything that just came to you. You were like, wow, I didn't think that I'd be into this, and here I am. Okay,
so, I mean, let's see. I typically, like, when I was growing up, I didn't really have spicy food like that because my mom was like, she had no tolerance for spicy food. Okay. So, I just wasn't introduced to it. And it's funny because my mom was very much like your mother. She was very picky, and she was just like, what is the cheapest thing? Like, she never explored on food. Yeah. I think I didn't start trying out, and not even to say it's weird, but like other things and other cuisines until like I got into a relationship.
I was going to say your partner is Asian.
My boyfriend is Vietnamese, so we went to Vietnam back in, the first time we went was 2018, I think, or something like that. And I tried this culture's food, and it's very different from American food, but it's very hot, spicy. For those of you who ate Bumbaway before, it's like a spicy noodle dish. It's kind of like, it's not like pho, but almost kind of similar, but it just it's a little bit more spicy. Has a little bit more, I would say, texture to it. It's so many combining flavors, and that was really good. And I had that in Vietnam at the market. It was amazing, and I was kind of apprehensive about trying it a little bit because, again, I come from an upbringing that my mom was super picky, so I was super picky with my food. I wasn't really like trying to navigate and try things out until he came along and was like, "You need to try this," and he's like, "I ain't gonna be one of my people to try that." So I'm like, "Okay, let me try it." So I think just doing that experience alone was just like my weird trying things.
Okay. Sometimes it starts with the palate.
It does start with the palate, and now it has expanded into so much. Like, I didn't even like avocados. I didn't like strawberries.
What?
I didn't like strawberries. I could not stand strawberries when I was younger because I thought, like, this part of the strawberry, like where you see the pores, I thought it was so weird to me. Like, I'm like, what is that? Like, it's like pores. Like, is something coming out of it?
Something coming out of it. I love it. The curiosity is so
I was so curious. And like kiwi, for example, like it's kind of hairy. I'm like, I still don't fuck with kiwi. I still don't fuck with kiwi. But
everything, I feel like is, it happens for a season and for a reason. So, okay, so what do you feel like, just to jump all around, what do you feel like is the thing that is, what's your purpose now? I feel like everybody has like an overall purpose, like in life, but that can kind of change as you fluctuate and go through different things. So what's your motive right now? What are you doing?
Well, I think my motive has always been very consistently the same, but it was a matter of like tuning it and making it work out for the greater good. My purpose is to essentially create a community for people to come and talk like we're doing right now.
Okay.
Create a community of people to come and talk and really tell a story. So essentially, like with Mental It, right? For example, I started it because I wanted to see people's story from the perspective of obviously their own lens. But ultimately, I also wanted them to tell this story and realize that this story is the story of so many other people too. Like they have this same exact feeling. Although they may be in different career paths or they may come from different upbringings or different family dynamics, like something within the story they can gravitate toward.
Yeah.
That's how Mental It was started. So it actually started from my own inability to be expressive, to not like understand like what emotions were. Like I was so confused at 16. I'm like, why do I feel super down? Like what is this thing that I feel? I didn't understand what it was.
Yeah.
And it carried on until adulthood, and I had to like address some things, you know what I'm saying? So I had to face my darkest moments, and I'm like, I really have to understand what this is about. And I was like, damn, like if I feel like this, I know that there's some people out there that definitely feel like this, and that's how Mental It started. So it started off as I did the first pilot in 2019 with one of my best friends, Mark. And it just was a conversation. It was just real raw. It was not rehearsed. It was just turn the camera on, put a couple of lights, get us a couch, and let's just talk.
Yeah.
And then I started doing that with everybody else. And then now it's like, I want to put not so much sadness to it. Like, it's obviously going to be a conversation, but I want to like start highlighting these individuals' like creative parts. Like for the example, with the most recent one, like there was an art performance, like singing involved. Like it's highlighting that, like amplifying Black voices, creatives, and like just human beings in general.
Yeah.
So platform, my purpose is Mental It.
Okay.
It's how we mental it.
I like that. I like that spin on it, because like when you read something just like at face value and just what it says, you don't always understand like the full meaning, or often, especially when it comes to like creative fields, we usually put your own perspective. Like you can look at an art piece and be like, this is what I think this person is going through. So it's always great to hear the backstory.
Yeah. So I just really want people to hone in on to what it is, really, truly. It's not just me setting up a camera and be like, okay, what's going on? Like, no, there's actually an art element to it as well, because the conversation is art. Like, you know, going to that space, like, it's kind of like the artist that kind of like, you know, when someone's painting something, you know, like a lot of the artists that, you know, are no longer here with us, like a lot of their art now is like world renowned, and they get so much recognition after like they have like gone and passed, right? There's so much that goes into creating this piece. It's the same thing with conversation. I don't think the two are any different. You know, so it's like your mark on the world, essentially. So
yeah, I like that a lot. You know, and I, especially when it comes to, like, we talked about this a little bit before, like, you know, with expression, but music in general, you know, and how that comes through. You know, it's so great how music is expressed in different ways across different cultures, but like Black culture specifically, like it was just all the way back in terms of like what gospel was and like in the slave trade during that time, and like how it actually helped us to like navigate, you know, if we sang songs, that was what brought us to freedom. But even just like today, you know, like how, you know, we were talking before.
Shout out to the ancestors.
Shout out to the ancestors, you know, like they set the tone, you know. But just in general, like how you were talking about before, like how music connected to food for you. You know, like you would, you know, listen to your mom playing a specific type of song in the kitchen, and that's how you knew, like, oh, she throwing down in there.
Yeah.
You know? Like, and you know, that's like what adds to that level of, you know, they call it soul food for a reason, you know, because your heart and your soul is being put into it, but also like when you're eating, you're jamming out to like that song. If you're not hearing it physically, you're jamming out to Patti LaBelle in your head.
Oh,
you
know? Love some
so
Patti.
we don't
get me started.
You about to kick your shoe in the audience.
You know, I know we're getting ready to close out really soon, but what is something that, now that you've expressed who you are, Meann Green, T, the snack queen, these are all character traits of who you are, who makes a part of your DNA, as you mentioned. Now, taking that, what happens with this persona now, 5 years now, from now? What does that look like?
What does that look like?
What is the evolution of that look like?
The evolution of that is it's sponsored. We're putting the evolution is that I paid for these snacks today. The evolution is that they're giving me the snacks to promote. That's the first thing. You know, like with all that I'm doing now, it's all funded by me. And so it's like,
and soon come, we're gonna have sponsorship.
Exactly. Like it's totally like it's evolved right now, because I'm in the phase right now where I'm spreading awareness. You know, I'm building a trust with my audience. You know, like I'm connecting them to who I really am. You know, and it could feel like who Meann Green is. It could feel a little all over the place, but be patient. You know, like there is a method to my madness. But it starts out with them getting to know me and who I am, and that's what I'm doing in this first year. And the reason why I'm so passionate about all of this is because I believe in the brand, because of course I believe in myself, but
of course,
I also I know that
I believe in you.
Thank you. But I also know that people will tap into the things that I love, and they would then find a way within themselves to express themselves just as how I have. You know, but again, like I've said before, I like to share. So even if it's just them being influenced by the things that I've done to portray it in their own way, right? So like if they looked at something that I've made for dinner and they're like, okay, I want to make something just like that. Or or I want to make dinner for myself because I'm so used to ordering, you know, out every day and I get so tired. So I'm going to come home and actually make a meal from scratch for myself. Or I'm going to eat vegetarian because, you know, I've been saying that I want to do plant-based for so long. Tiara made this amazing set of nachos and I want to do the same thing. You know, like as long as I've inspired the small group of people around me to be their best selves or to feel better about them and their day to day, I feel accomplished already, you know? But aside from that, after people get to know me, I want them to grow with me, you know? Like I see like 5 years from now, I mean, I feel like 1 year from now, that's the sponsorship, but 5 years from now, I have a product that people are buying that's going to help them in some type of way. Or I have a service that I'm providing that's going to be able to help people in some type of way. I feel like if I ate the cream and the berries together, it honestly tastes like a caramel apple.
I get that vibe. I get that vibe. And then the peanut butter adds that nutty flavor to it.
That's what I like too.
So what, so this is something I always ask people, right? Like, what is something that you would tell your younger self? Like, if she was looking at you right now, what would you tell her?
What would I tell her?
Because she was still a snacky back then.
She was still a snacky back then. And I would tell her, in the words and the format of Christina Aguilera, you are beautiful no matter what they say. Words can't bring me down.
Oh,
no. So don't you bring me down today.